Hello, welcome to Nina's Knots Crochet. I'm Lynanne. If you're new here, hey, thanks for stopping by and checking out my channel. My channel, it's all about crochet. Well, sometimes I talk about other things. Today's one of those days. Returning subscribers, thanks so much for coming back, spending a little bit of your Thursday with me. This is a different video that I normally do. This is more of a how-to. I've had people ask me how I use my yarn swift and how to use the key when you're using interchangeable cords. So I'm going to show you those two things, how I do them. Now, again, this is just how I do them. Some of you may do it in a different way, which is totally fine. Makes the world go round. Everybody's different, right? So today we're going to start with how I prep my yarn hanks, and then how I put it on my yarn swift, and how to either ball it up or use it on your ball winder if you have a ball winder. I'm going to be using my Cascade yarn, Cascades BFL. This is the yarn that I am using for my cardigan. This is a 3-weight, but you guys, you can use this as any. You can use this with minis. You can use this beginning technique with anything that comes in a hank. Do you all remember Doris from Rose Cottage Studios? I miss her. Anyway, she was doing this. She was doing hanks for a cardigan that she was making. Some hanks that she got from, I want to say Knit Picks. No, Knit Crate. That's the one that went out of business. Anyway, she showed me how to do this. So you have your hank, and it's all, braided up really nice. So what you do is you unwrap it, let it twist itself out, find the center. Now, sometimes it can be a little difficult. They get a little tangled, but you'll notice on most hand-dyed, they're tied in a couple of different places. Do not take that tie off until you are ready to wind. You'll get a tangled mess. So don't untie anything until you have it on your swift and you're ready to wind. The first thing I do, and this one is kind of discombobulated, is I put my hands on the inside of it and give it a little snap. Get those fibers separated a little bit. Get those strands separated a little bit. Got it? And then switch it around. Do it the other way. Give them a good snap. Get them a little so they're not all tangled up in each other, right? And then it's kind of hard to explain, but you just kind of give it a good wiggle around. You know what I'm saying? Snap it a couple more times. Wiggle it around. Make sure that they're getting, especially if you're using wool. Wool tends to stick to itself. Just give it a good... Now, this is the fun part. So you have one on top, one on the bottom, and twirl it. Twirl it, twirl it, twirl it. Twirl it back the other way. Twirl it this way a couple of times. Twirl it this way a couple of times. Give it a good snap. Now, that should loosen up the fibers enough that you can place this on your swift. Now, this is a little bit tricky. I have mine inside out. See the tie? You want that on the outside. So you got to make sure that you flip it the right way. If you need to, give it another snap. Give it another twist. Make sure that the ties are facing out when you go to put it on your swift. Okay? So now you have they're loosened. It's not super goosey-loosey, but it's loosened enough but they're not tagging onto each other. So now here's the tricky part. And I'm going to have to pause you and reconfigure my camera because I can't do this part standing up. So I'm going to have to lower my camera down, but I can't twirl it sitting down. So I have to do this in two pieces. So let me readjust the camera and I'll show you how to put it on your Swift. Okay, hang on one second. Okay, this is a little bit far away, but this is the only way I could get the whole Swift in the picture so you can see what I'm doing. It's just the way the camera angle is. So remember, you've got your yarn all nice and loose. You have the ties on the outside. Take your hands inside and with your Swift closed, go over the top of it. Now this is a little bit tricky. I'm not going to lie to you. It can be a little bit funky to do. Now you don't want to pull tight, but you want to get a little bit of tension. So you see I have my one hand out here with tension. And then you're going to lift your Swift up. And mine sometimes sticks. And you lift it up until you have it tight. Now you don't want it super tight. You don't want to like stretch it to its at its absolute tightest. Just enough. Then I go to like as high as it can go. And then I let my thumb down just a little bit to give it a little bit of give. And then you tighten it. Now the Swift is turning. We got no problems there, right? So that's step number one. And now is when you're going to go through and untie and loosen up all the fibers from the rest of the to get it so you can get it on your either your ball winder or wind it by hand. So hang on a second. I'm going to adjust the camera one more time so you can see a close-up of that and a close-up of me winding either on a ball winder or on by hand. Yeah, I hope you guys can see this a little bit better. So with this one, with this particular yarn brand, I can just untie it. But you're going to just need a pair of scissors. And you see these strings that are holding the yarn together. You just snip that right above the knot and pull that out of there. And now that one is loose. And you swing it around until you find the next one. Here's the next one. This one I can just untie and pull that one out of there. And then this one is going to be where it's got the biggest knot and it's got the most strings in it. This is the one that's going to have your starting end. So either snip it right above the knot or untie it. This one is, I'm lucky enough to untie. Pull out the piece that'll pull out. Now you still have two ends. And you can tell this end is on top because it's pulling really easy. This one is even. So sometimes, not all the time, sometimes one of the ends will come from behind. Try not to grab that one to wind with because it'll just make the process a little less smooth. So at this point, you can decide whether you want to use a ball winder. And I just have the Knit Picks purple ball winder that, you know, does the little wonkiness, you know, the back and forth. Or you can ball it by hand. Balling by hand is really easy. And you just, you know, go until you get your ball. And you just go and go and go. Now, this is a little more time consuming, but you don't have to have this. If all you have is a Swift, you can come up with a really nice ball. With all that Temu yarn I got, I will never put it on a caker. I will never put it on a ball winder. I will do this by hand. Now, if you want to put it on your ball winder, and again, I'm going to have to pause you to put the camera down here so that you, I don't have enough room, guys. So I'm going to pause you again, and I'm going to put you down so that you can see my ball winder, how I get it on my ball winder. Okay, so hang on one more second. Okay, so I'm right-handed. So I need my ball winder, and I'm on a TV tray, you guys, so that this is portable. I can get it out of my way. So I have on my TV tray, my Swift on the top left corner. So it is in front of me and to the left. On the TV tray, I have my ball winder on the bottom right corner. So they're at opposite corners from each other so that I can wind with no problem, and there's enough space for tension because you need a little bit of tension. I personally, and I'm going to show you how I do it, I always use my left hand to help guide with the tension so that I get a pretty even cake. So this is just the Knit Picks ball winder. It looks like most of the ball winders that are out there. I think you can get one at Joann's or Michael's that's pretty similar. Some of them are more straight up and down. I don't like that one as much as I like this one. And I am using DK weight. When I get towards the end, this is going to start clicking really bad because it doesn't like the weight. But I can get it on. It's going to be okay. So now you have the end of your yarn, and I do not set this up to center pull. I never center pull anymore, you guys. I use my wool genies and I pull from the outside. Center pulling always is full of yarn barf and knots and cakes clapping in on themselves. I prefer to pull from the outside. Now, if you want your yarn to come from a certain way, you may have to double up on, caking it. You might have to cake it one way. And then if you want what's on the outside on the inside, you're just going to have to put it, on the side and then recake it from the original cake so that now what was on the outside is on the inside. I know it sounds like a lot of steps, but for me, I don't like the mess that comes from center pulling. So I'm not doing it anymore. Give myself a little extra work. I don't care. So anyway, you can see you have this curlicue thing. This is how I do it. I go from the bottom, pull it forward, around the long part, and now my yarn is in the loops. And then I don't know if you guys can see this. On the top, there's slits. I pull the yarn across there. And then I tuck it back this way. And then I start to wind. So now it's caught. Whoops. This is always the part where it falls off. So getting started is always a little fiddly, but you know what? Life is fiddly. Okay, so now I've got it started. I've got the tail caught, and oops, I made a knot. So my yarn is going through the holes on here, and then this is supposed to be the tension. I find it's not enough tension for me. So now I've got a hold of it over here, and I'm going to wind. And I can keep control of the tension. I can keep control of the speed. And I'm going to just wind this up. You can go as fast or slow as you want. All right, you've seen how I do this. I'm going to pause it for a minute. I'm going to get the whole cake almost on here, and then when I get close to the end, I'll restart and I'll show you how I take it off of here, so that I remember what this is. So give me a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm coming to the end and I'm going to get the last little bit wound on here. And it's stuck because I stopped it. So there's the last of it. So now the whole cake is wound, right? I take the yarn band and I kind of, fold it as little as I can get it. I put it right here. I hold it there. And while it's there, I pull up on the cake. So now it's in the center. So if I decide halfway through I'm done with this cake and I don't want to use it anymore and I put it on my shelf, I'll always know what this yarn is. And then you can do whatever it is you do when you're caking up your yarn. Sometimes I'll grab a barrette and snap it on there. Sometimes I'll take one of these, like safety pin, and I'll do it like a slip knot here. And then I put that through the slip knot and then through a couple layers, pull that slip knot tight, and that holds it tight. So this isn't going to unravel when it's either in my project bag or on the shelf. And now I have a beautiful cake of yarn ready to use. And then when I get ready to put it on my yarn genie, I just pull that tag out, or heck, you could probably, if you don't fold it really tight, you could probably put your yarn genie spindle up through the tag even and leave it on and work from the outside in. So that is project number one. I'm going to raise this back up so you can see me again. That is how I do it. Now, I know that some people do things different. There is a way to set it up so that you can center pull. Not my thing. So if you are wanting to find out how to set it up so that you can do a center pull, there are tutorials out there somewhere. Somebody will teach you how to do it if you really want to do center pull. My equipment came from Knit Picks. I have the natural wood Swift from Knit Picks and the ball winder from Knit Picks. But you could get the inexpensive ones from Amazon, Joann's, Hobby Lobby. They all have, they're called umbrella Swifts. But you could also go up to the really expensive, the Amish ones that are flat. There are a million options out there for the Swifts. I find this one is my best option. Now, this is the second one of this version that I own, because the first one I broke. And I'll tell you how I broke it, because this is a really important tip. I broke it because when I was opening the umbrella to put the yarn on, I was making it too tight. And the metal clips that held the wood to the spindle stretched out so bad it wouldn't stay on. And that's because I was yanking that thing up as hard as it could go, because I thought the tension had to come from the Swift. And I wanted it as tight as it could go. And I wrecked a $35 Swift. This one came on sale. I want to say I paid like 20 something for it. If you're wanting one of these natural wood ones, watch Knit Picks. They do equipment sales all the time, and they'll have the Swift and the winder on a bundle sale at a pretty decent price. I'm not affiliated with them. I'm just telling you, this is how I got mine. But just be very cautious about, now you don't want your tension to be too loose. You don't want it so that it's not tight enough that you've got that stretch to your yarn. But again, you don't want it so tight that you pull the metal rings from your Swift. So that is what I use for my ball winders. Like I said, you can get, inexpensive ones and still get the same look, same results. So whatever is in your price range, you still can do all of this. And if you just want to do the Swift instead of a ball, and not the ball winder, hand wind it. It works just the same. If you don't want to do a Swift and you want to do a ball winder, use the back of a chair. Use two heavy jars on a table. You can figure out a way to do it. But just remember the trick where you're snapping the fibers, swirling it up, snap those fibers so that they get separated. So that was tip number 1. Tip number 2 is I'm going to show you how I attach a cord to a hook. Because people were asking me, how do you use the little keys? And here's my little key. They look like this. Sometimes if you get the Mindful swivel cords, theirs is like, it looks like a little pin with a little blue dot on the top. It's all the same thing. It's just a little piece of metal in a pinch. Sometimes I've used like a sewing needle that'll fit in the hole. You can use your imagination. You don't always have these tend to get lost. So anyway, this is just my Knitter's Pride dreams, and you can use this with knitting needles and crochet, whatever you're attaching a cord to. You can use this same trick. So what I do is I get it started. This is a swivel cord, that's why I'm holding it. Then you see that hole. You slide your key in through the hole, and then I hold the key still. So the key is not going to turn. And I put my, tighten that needle up, or my hook up, and then I give it a little bit of a, just give it a little bit. Oh, I might have stripped this. Oh, I just stripped this one. No, I didn't. It wasn't on right. Okay, so just give it a little bit of a tug so it's nice and tight and it's not going to go anywhere. And then reverse. Put your key in, hold the key, turn the needle hook until it comes off. And I did strip it. I broke this one. Oh no. There. I stripped this one. Let's try this again. Let's get a different cord. Got to get the right size cord here. Hang on a second. All right, let's try this again. That's not good. I ruined that cord. That's a sad day in America. Okay, let's try this again. You've got your hook, you get it started. You find your hole in the cord. You put the key through the hole. And again, this is how I do it. Hold that on there. Turn the needle, hook, whatever, until you've got a little bit of a snug fit. Then take that key, give it a little bit of a tug to make sure it's on there secure. You've got your cord nice and secure. And to take it off, you do the opposite. Put your key in the hole, turn the hook till it comes off, and you're done. It's really simple. So, guys, I hope this stuff has been a little bit informative. I know it's a little bit choppy with moving the cameras and stuff. Sorry about that. But, you know, I don't have a real studio. This is just my yarn room, and I do what I can. So please, if you have any more questions, if there's anything that you need a little clarification of, please let me know. Don't worry, rewind, go back, forth, do whatever you need to do. Get a hold of me if I can answer any questions for you. You can get a hold of me in a comment, email. You know how to get a hold of me. So with that, I'm going to let you get back to your, what is this, Thursday? And I hope you have a fantastic day. Make sure you're taking care of yourself and giving yourself some grace. It's going to be okay. But remember to be kind to yourself, but be kind to everyone out there, because you never know what they're going through. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.